Hello, Dan here, 3rd of July. Welcome to Essex, UK. So today I'm going to be making a video on blueberries. So I love growing blueberries. I've been growing them for a few years now. Very nutritious, great tasting, and plenty of uses. Eat them fresh, you can put them in a pie, couldn't you? You can make jam. So really nice indeed. So I've got a variety of varieties, early, mid and late ripening varieties, which is grand, and I've got some here in another part of the garden, and it's actually turning out to be a very good year for them this year, so it's really lovely. And I really wanted to make a video to get it on record, the crop this year, and also give some teaching points, etc., you know, little hints, tips, ideas, etc., on how to grow blueberries, because they're doing very well indeed. So we'll have a look at those in a moment. Now, got them a few years ago, and I made 2 videos, if I remember correctly, when I got them. The first video was when they arrived, and then the other one was, I don't know, a little bit of time afterwards, where I potted them up. So I'll link those videos in the description box below, and if you want, you can check them out and you can see a little bit of continuity. So anyway, let's have a look at these, and we'll see what they're like. Okay, so before I kick this video off, please let me know in the comment section below what varieties of blueberries you're growing. Also put, if you want to, the area in which you're living, so whether it's the UK or another country, whatever part of the UK you're in, and the USDA zone as well, because myself and many other viewers will also be interested where you're growing them, because it can be nice to sort of look through and sort of compare notes, if you will, to see what does well in your area. And that, of course, is another little bit of advice, if you will, that could be good, is talk to other growers, you know, or blueberries or whatever it is you're growing, to find out what does well in your area, because it really can be nice to grow crops, plants, etc. that excel where you are. Can be very satisfying indeed, and that little bit of extra time just doing a bit of background research, finding out, etc., can pay dividends in the long run. So you can see I've actually got these ones here growing in containers in this trailer here. I used to use this trailer for work, but now I'm utilising it as a place to store blueberries growing in containers. So very handy indeed, a nice little raised effect as well, so one doesn't have to bend their back as much when picking. So we'll start here with a variety called Duke. Duke is another widely planted, early ripening northern high bush variety, and for good reason. Duke is a heavy, consistent producer with attractive, firm, light blue, savoury, sweet quality berry. Duke blooms late but ripens early, listen to this, which protects the blossoms from spring frosts. So if you think about it, if you're living in an area where the frosts can be later, but yet you still want a early ripening blueberry, something like Duke could be good, because it blooms later and hopefully won't get damaged by the frost. So let's have a look. So what have we got on this one here? So actually there's no blueberries on this one. If there was, I've already picked them, but this is the plant here. So let's have a look. Right, so look at these gorgeous blueberries here. So we'll pick these, and we'll have a little bit of a taste test of this variety Duke. They're just a really nice one, and literally quite blowy today, isn't it? Literally, like every time I'm coming out in the garden at the moment, I'm picking blueberries. So in the morning, you know, in the afternoon, in the evening, etc., just getting, you know, lovely little handfuls of blueberries here. So variety Duke. So I hope you can see those all right there. Look, really nice little variety of blueberry. So let's try one. Yeah, lovely. They could have been left on there a little bit longer, but these are fine. I like something that's a little bit on the sharpish side. But if you leave these a few days longer, like I left some the other day and I picked them this morning, really nice, like lightly sweet taste, and it's really good. So variety Duke, a really nice variety to grow. So let's have a look at another variety. So up the back here I have a variety called Gold Traub. Gold Traub is a mid to mid-early season variety with white flowers appearing April-May, followed by clusters of large juicy berries in July-August. Gold Traub berries are full of healthy goodness and is high in antioxidants. Fruits are ready to pick when they have turned a deep blue and should be easy to pull away from the fruit cluster when ripe. So there we go. So you can see this here, look. So this is Gold Traub, and we'll pick some of these today, and we'll do a little bit of a taste test on those. So you can just see how many. I'll give you some close-ups in a moment of just how many blueberries there are here to ripen all over these bushes, and I've already picked a considerable amount already. I think that's probably close to my best year of blueberries so far since I've been growing these, so that's great. So gold trail, look at those, quite an ornamental looking berry actually. Yep. Now these are tasting slightly sweeter than the Duke. I can't honestly say which is better. Both are slightly different taste. It's nice to have a bit of variety, I think. So yeah, that's gold trail. Another nice one to grow. So we've got a variety here called Elliot. Now this is actually true to what it's supposed to be. Elliot has been the leading late season blueberry for the last decade. White flowers appear first, then berries which are medium sized with a small dry scar with high acid and slightly tart flavour. Long ripening period of 4 to 5 weeks depending on location. Elliot is rated a high producer with upright growing habit with an ultimate height of 3 to 4 feet. Right, so Elliot really has a huge crop on there, and because it's a late ripening variety, none of them are ripe yet, so I've got plenty of those to come. So I'll put the camera around these, and you can see some close-ups of these bushes and just see the lovely croplets currently on some of them, and is what to come. So yeah, look, you can see behind me here, so this one here is the Elliot, and look, just the sheer volume of berries on that bush. That's absolutely fantastic, that is. And here too, look, this, I hope you can see this all right. Here you go, I'll bring it down like that, look. This too is an Elliot, so really lovely indeed. And that's one good thing about growing something like, well, many fruits to be honest. You can get early, mid and late ripening varieties, so you can extend your cropping period, which in my opinion is a very good thing to do to avoid having too much of any one thing at any time. And it's very satisfying to know that you're maybe at least partially self-sufficient in something for a relatively long span of time. Very useful indeed, and it can sort of help enrich your overall gardening experience really. So here we go, look, some nice close-ups here. So what have we got here? So this is gold trail. Now this bush here is not doing so well, it's got to be said. Now this one, what is this? That's gold trail. It's got some lovely, here we go, look, these are from that bush there, look. So some lovely berries on there, look, ripening, look, them ones, and plenty more to come. That's the Elliot, or one of the Elliots there, another Elliot there. So yeah, absolutely lovely indeed. So I've got a few more blueberry plants I'm going to show you in a moment. Now, I'm actually breaking a bit of a rule here. You can see that I don't have these covered up. I should really have these covered up with a net, because birds really, well, they can like to eat these, and in previous years I have actually experienced that. But for some reason this year, the birds aren't touching them, so I've got away with them being left like this. But best practice would be to cover them with a net or something like that, so that the birds can't come and eat your crop, because you really don't want that. So blueberries, they actually like an ericaceous, otherwise known as acidic growing medium, 4.5 to 5.5 pH. So that can be difficult to achieve in some cases. Maybe your soil in your garden, your growing medium isn't that, and you end up putting your plants in, they just don't do well. So the subject of soil pH is a very big one indeed, and in some cases it can be considered quite difficult to change the pH of the growing medium of the soil. So what these are growing in now, if you check out that video I mentioned earlier, linked in the description box, you could see the growing medium in which I mixed up and grew these in. Now, how acidic that actually was, I don't really know, because I never checked it. So you might want to have a look at that video, but it's actually done very well indeed. Now, some years I have actually fed them with an organic ericaceous feed, which I'll show you in a moment when we look at the other blueberries. But I've not fed these once this year with any ericaceous feed at all, and you've seen how well they do. Another thing is when you water them, if you can water them with rainwater, that can be great. A great idea, because tap water tends to be more on the alkaline side, whereas rainwater is likely to be a bit more on the acidic side. So of course, if you're watering these with tap water from the hose or whatever, you could be alkalining, I don't know the correct word, the growing medium. So if you want to get a nice, if you want to help them with the ericaceous growing medium, water from a water butt is a great thing to do. Now, I fully understand that that can't always be done because maybe one doesn't have that many water butts, periods of drought, etc. But best practice would be to water them with rainwater if possible. Now here's another little tip for you. So you can see here I've got a variety, I've got 3 different varieties in this area here. Now it's said to actually help with pollination if you have more than one variety. So my understanding of blueberries is they can actually produce fruit from their own pollen, so you don't actually need to have more than one variety in order to get fruit. But you can actually help them along a little bit by having more than one variety. That way a little bit of cross-pollination can occur, and that can help to increase your yield. So that could account for maybe one reason why the yields here are so good this year, because I've got these 3 varieties in close proximity, and you can imagine like you know, bees helping them with the pollination of the different varieties, and therefore could lead to a bigger crop. You know, don't let it worry you too much. If you've only got room for one bush, you know, one plant, one variety, and that's all you've got room for, you know, don't stress over that. But if you can get more than one variety, you're seeing advantages of it. So, you know, a sustained period of ripening, of fruiting over a season, and of course maybe bigger yields. So that's absolutely wonderful, really. 2 you know, great reasons to have more than one variety, if indeed you can do it. It's come over very overcast, as you can see there, so we'll get on with this quickly. So I've actually got some blueberry plants growing in containers here in this polytunnel, so let's go in here and have a look at them. So quite congested in here now, with the peach tree here just carrying whoops, this is carrying a huge crop here, absolutely lovely. So I've made loads of videos on the growing of, look at them, look. I've made loads of videos on the growing of peaches over the years, so I'll link one of those in the description box below if you want to learn more about the growing of peaches, because it's something I'm very passionate about. I reckon many of my regular viewers have already guessed that one. But so let's look at these blueberries. So I've got a variety of varieties here again, and really lovely here. So with regards to the growing of blueberries, you really want to make sure they get full sun all day if you can. If you can't achieve that, you know, go for a minimum of 6 to 8 hours. And again, you know, let's say you really want blueberries, you're living in a place where the garden doesn't get full sun, doesn't get hardly, you know, doesn't get any full sun all day. Well, so be it. Make the best of what you've got. Have your blueberry plant and, you know, see how you do. And in many ways, I think a good sort of perspective to take on gardening, and indeed many other aspects of life, of course, is don't let perfection get in the way of the good, you know, because we can always look for perfection, but sometimes it's very hard to achieve, and you can frustrate yourself sometimes trying to achieve that. So you know, if you can't do everything perfect, it's not always totally bad in terms of gardening. But anyway, let's delve into these bushes and have a look. So we'll have a look here now. These bushes at the back here, these are crikeys. These are variety blue crop, and I was actually given these a few years ago by someone. He said they weren't thriving in his garden. He gave them to me, and you know, and I've done relatively well with them. So can't actually see any blue crop. Oh, here we go. This one's a little blue crop one here. So mid-season variety. Now, if these were outside in full sun, it's likely I'd have plenty of blue crop, you know, either ripe or ripening by now. But of course, you know, they don't get as much sun in this polytunnel because of where it's situated. But blue crop is a very, you know, even like that, not fully ripe yet. It's got that lovely blueberry taste. So blue crop, actually quite an important commercial variety. You often find when you're buying, or at least when I remember buying some before, once upon a time, blueberries, when you bought them, they were variety blue crop. So they're a nice variety to grow indeed, and I highly recommend that variety. Okay, so down here we are. Now I've got a variety here called Spartan. As you can hear, the wind is getting up indeed. So Spartan, let's read about this. Spartan is one of the most attractive, easy to pick and best sweet flavoured blueberries, making this a great favourite at car boot sales and with the home gardener. Spartan can be particular with soil types, requiring the site to be light and well drained. Spartan is an early season, very large, mildly sweet berry with a spectacular crimson red to yellow stem colour in the winter. So let's find one to try. Here we go. There's a Spartan here. Now, if this was outside, chances are it would probably have more ripe berries on it by now, because as I explained earlier, it doesn't get the amount of sunlight in here as I would like. It's just you know, where I put the polytunnel at the time, etc., and how it now is. But yeah, that's a nice tasting berry, that is. So Spartan is another very nice variety to grow as well. So yeah, really lovely indeed. And even, whoops, good grief, even picking these, stop doing that, even picking these in here under these less than ideal conditions, I'm actually getting a lovely crop here, and there's really loads to come. So, you know, it shows just you know, how many there are if I want them, you know. So really nice. So we'll talk a bit about the ericaceous feed I mentioned earlier. So empathy, the biological choice after plant, ericaceous feed and biostimulant. So that's one you could look into having. So seaweed and amino acids, etc. So you could look into doing that. But yeah, check out them videos that I made earlier. Let me know, well, not earlier, that I made, you know, quite a time ago now. But yeah, so let me know what varieties of blueberry you're going. I'm going to quickly get in now because the rain has started. Hope you enjoyed that video, and of course I'll see you in the next video.